Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a kind girl named Cinderella. She lived with her cruel stepmother and two jealous stepsisters. They made her do all the chores, from scrubbing floors to cooking their meals, while they enjoyed their luxurious lives without lifting a finger. Despite her hardships, Cinderella remained kind and gentle. She found happiness in simple things, like singing with the birds and playing with the mice in the attic. Her animal friends loved her dearly and often helped her with her daily tasks, bringing joy to her lonely life. One day, an invitation arrived at the house. The king was hosting a grand ball for the prince to find a bride. Every young woman in the kingdom was invited. Cinderella's stepsisters were thrilled, while Cinderella secretly dreamed of attending too, imagining a night free of sorrow. Cinderella excitedly asked her stepmother if she could go to the ball, but her stepmother laughed cruelly and said she could only go if she finished all her chores and found something suitable to wear. The stepsisters mocked her, knowing she had nothing beautiful to wear. Determined, Cinderella searched through the attic and found her mother's old gown. Though dusty and worn, she lovingly cleaned and mended it with the help of her animal friends. They added ribbons and beads to make it beautiful, working together in secret while the stepsisters prepared. On the night of the ball, Cinderella proudly came downstairs wearing the transformed gown, but her stepsisters noticed the beads and ribbons taken from their own dresses. In a fit of jealousy, they tore Cinderella's gown to shreds, leaving her heartbroken and alone. Cinderella ran to the garden, crying under a tree. Suddenly, a warm light surrounded her, and a kind old woman appeared. It was her fairy godmother. She wiped Cinderella's tears and promised to help her go to the ball, using her magic to make Cinderella's wish come true. With a wave of her wand, the fairy godmother transformed a pumpkin into a magnificent carriage. She turned mice into horses, a rat into a coachman, and lizards into footmen. Then, she changed Cinderella's rags into a breathtaking ball gown, complete with sparkling glass slippers. Before Cinderella left, the fairy godmother warned her. The magic would only last until midnight. After that, everything would return to its original form. Grateful and excited, Cinderella promised to be home before midnight and climbed into the magical carriage. At the ball, everyone was enchanted by the mysterious young woman in the beautiful gown. The prince couldn't take his eyes off her. He asked her to dance, and they spent the entire evening together, talking and laughing, while the stepmother and stepsisters didn't recognize her. As the clock neared midnight, Cinderella suddenly remembered the fairy godmother's warning. She quickly thanked the prince and ran away, racing down the palace steps. In her hurry, one of her glass slippers slipped off, but she didn't dare stop to pick it up. The prince picked up the glass slipper and vowed to find the mysterious girl who had captured his heart. The next day, he sent the Grand Duke to search the entire kingdom, making every young woman try on the slipper, hoping to find the girl who fit it perfectly. When the Grand Duke arrived at Cinderella's house, the stepsisters eagerly tried to squeeze their feet into the slipper, but it was no use. Their feet were too big, and they screamed in frustration. Cinderella watched quietly from the shadows, her heart pounding. Just as the Duke was about to leave, Cinderella bravely stepped forward and asked to try the slipper. Her stepmother tried to stop her, but the Duke insisted. Cinderella sat down, and to everyone's amazement, the slipper fit her perfectly, as if it were made just for her. Then, from her pocket, Cinderella pulled out the other glass slipper she had kept. Everyone gasped in shock. The Duke immediately realized she was the girl the prince had fallen in love with. Overjoyed, he invited her to the palace to reunite with the prince. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters watched in disbelief as Cinderella left with the Duke. They realized too late how badly they had treated her, but Cinderella, kind as always, forgave them in her heart as she rode off toward her new life. When Cinderella arrived at the palace, the prince was waiting for her. He immediately recognized her and took her hand, asking her to marry him. Cinderella, filled with happiness, said yes. The whole kingdom rejoiced at the news of their engagement. Soon after, Cinderella and the prince were married in a grand ceremony. People from all over the kingdom came to celebrate. Cinderella's animal friends watched proudly, happy that their beloved friend had finally found the happiness she deserved. Cinderella and the prince lived happily ever after, ruling the kingdom with kindness and wisdom. Cinderella never forgot the lessons she learned or the kindness of her fairy godmother, and she always treated everyone she met with compassion and love. Her story became a legend told for generations, a reminder that kindness, courage, and hope can overcome even the greatest hardships. And so, whenever children heard the tale of Cinderella, they learned to believe in magic and the power of dreams. The birds still sang in the castle gardens, and the mice still played in the attic, knowing that their dear friend Cinderella had found her happily ever after. The kingdom remained a place where kindness ruled, and love always triumphed in the end. And whenever the clock struck midnight, Cinderella would smile, remembering the magical night that changed her life forever. She knew that dreams really do come true for those who dare to believe and always keep kindness in their hearts. The end of her story wasn't just about marrying a prince, but about staying true to herself despite all the obstacles she faced. Cinderella became an inspiration to all, showing that no matter how tough life gets, goodness and hope will always shine through. And so, in that faraway kingdom, where once a lonely girl scrubbed floors, a beloved queen now ruled, surrounded by love, friendship, and endless happiness. Cinderella's life had transformed completely, proving that kindness is the greatest magic of all.